Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there. Thank you for being with me today on New Life Live and Milan Yerkovich and Dr. Jill Hubbard. We're all in, and we're grateful to get to be here to do it together. We enjoy each other. We enjoy helping people. Hi, guys. How are you?
Great to be with you, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
And to you, Jill.
Yes.
Thanks. It's
Good
always
to be
nice
with
to
you
be
guys.
together. Yes.
It is June 3rd. It's Thursday. I want to mention that if you have a television and it has a cable kind of thing there, a lot of channels, the NRB network at 11 o'clock Eastern Time has a program on called Life Recovery Today. And it's all about life recovery today. And I'm the host. It's 30 minutes, and we usually have a really good story of somebody whose life was an absolute mess. They did something and then got dependent on it or addicted to it. Now they're not. So I hope you'll try to find that and watch or listen. You can watch us on the YouTube channel, New Life Live YouTube channel. Hope you'll subscribe to that and do all of those kinds of things. But we have a great event coming up. This summer could be the summer of the new you and the two of you in a new relationship with the Intimacy in Marriage Weekend. Now, Milan and Jill are nodding their heads back and forth, trying to
It's a lot of twos. Two.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, the point is we've got this wonderful intensive coming up. It's Intimacy in Marriage Intensive. And I got to tell you, it is astounding, the results that happen here. We've got a group that came out and did a documentary on it, and they met all the couples that were coming. And they told us they didn't think it was a good idea to come in and do the documentary. And we said, why? And they said, because these people are beyond help. It's a waste of time. You can't help these people. And every one of those couples
Seriously?
had a major breakthrough. Oh, that is true. They had
Oh
a
my
major
gosh.
breakthrough. And it's just been astounding to follow up with it. But Milan, you are the ring leader. You're the king teacher, you and Kay. Why do you think Intimacy in Marriage does so much for people, even in that impossible situation where there's no hope or people think there's no hope?
Steve, I think people find a sense of belonging and camaraderie.
Yeah.
If we look at the national statistics, I don't know exactly what they are, but people say somewhere 45-50% of relationships don't make it. Marriage is hard, and we impose upon relationships and romance an idealism that it's going to be perfect. And then when it isn't, we then are shattered, disappointed. And so people just then get into conflict and move along. But if we realize that we're all in the same boat, one of the songs we play there is the song by Casting Crowns, Broken Together. It's a beautiful song, Steve, about the fact that can we just live together realizing we're broken together, and that we're going to learn to grow in such a way so that we can learn to thrive in this. Mm-hmm. And then when people realize their couple core pattern is not unknown, it's known, and there's something you can do about it to change things. So this is a workshop where people feel they identify, I'm not alone, you know what's true about us, and you have a way out to help us grow. And I think those are the things that inspire people. And then Kay and I share our journey. You share a lot about yours. And there's a lot of humor there, Steve, that comes from you at my expense. At my expense. Yeah. And we just have a very fun time, but a serious time too.
It is good. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you want to find out about it, call, ask somebody about it. Because your core pattern is a poor pattern and usually creates a sore pattern in your life. We want to help you with that.
I'm going to write that down and use that.
Very good.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met.
connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, a physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, June 25th through the 27th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. Want to mention to you, I have been all week, a gift of any amount. I'll send you the new book by Dr. Dave Stoop and myself, The Soul of a Hero. It's a great Father's Day gift along with the Every Man's Bible. But this is a book about being a godly hero, not, the prince on a horse or something like that, but really, what do we do? And what we do to be a godly hero is we start out like a child. Not being childish, but to have the heart of a child in the beginning is really where it starts. How about we go to Kat? She's calling from Gaithersburg, Maryland. WAVA is the station. And let's talk with her. Kat, you're on with Milan Yerkovich, Dr. Jill Hubbard, and Steve Arterburn here. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I hope you all are all well as well.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that, no matter what, I noticed lately, no matter what station I watch on TV, whether it's a cable station or a local station, the commercials that appear are showing us, as if we're not looking, a lot of same-sex relationships, especially in commercials, and I'm picking up on that. I also used to work for the school system in Maryland, and as of last year, they started allowing a class for students to take on LGBT relationships or the community itself. It's optional, but it's there. And I guess I'm just wondering, I'm a 50s child, and even back then there were people that we thought might be different, but nobody talked about it. We knew something was different, and that was it. My parents didn't even really talk about it, but as I grew up, I figured out what was going on. But I guess I'm wondering, what is your feel on this, especially in the school? I worked in a school where they literally let some young men that were gay wear dresses. They just had to wear it at the length that a girl wears it.
Yeah.
Now, in one of the school systems, they all wear the same color.
Okay.
Robe.
Okay. So you are asking, how do we feel about the way things are going in the school or media, or what's
in
the specific
school
question?
And overall,
All right.
things have changed so much.
All right. Well, I'll tell you this, and then we'll hear from Jill and Milan. Being a parent of a 12 and a 14-year-old, it is very difficult for your children to, in a secular or just a regular public school system, to have Christian values that are valued. And there are so many influences, like you're saying, that go against conservative Christian values. And I was talking with Jim Daly, who is the head of Focus on the Family, and he was just saying that research shows that when people are really confused about their identity, if you would just leave them alone, they would resolve that. It'll be normalized in about 80% of the cases. But nobody leaves them alone because of so many images, so many things that point to Everything's okay. If you feel a certain way, go with it. It's not just a phase or an experimental thing or whatever. Go with it. That's who you must be. Doesn't matter who God made you to be. And so we're up against a lot of stuff. And I would just say this. We can't change the stuff out there. It is there. And so we need to have tremendous compassion, understanding, and connection, because you can't counter society and its influences by yelling something at people. You can't even do it by preaching at them. You have to connect for any kind of message of love, care, and concern to come across. And the issue isn't that I don't think you're doing the right thing or whatever. The issue is, I think you're missing the best. I think I understand the struggle and why you would look at a lot of different things in the midst of that struggle. But I don't think this is the best that God has for you. Jill, you have a thought, and then Milan?
Yeah, Kat, I definitely hear your concern and the overexposure that our young people are getting. I definitely like the idea, kind of, love the sinner, hate the sin, right? And that so many of these people are struggling. My son was at an arts high school, so we had to contend with this a lot, right? And it's more about, I think, again, loving the person, right? And a lot of these kids have felt really ostracized in regular schools. So his school was a place that was more tolerant of different kinds of kids and people. But even amongst them, there was a distinction. And I think the kids, while they were loving and kind, they made a distinction because I think kids normally do, of what's normal and what's not, right? No matter how much you accept, there's still this innate part of us that says something's not right here. And so I think that's something that we need to be having conversations with kids, but I think getting to the heart of people, right? We want to win them for Jesus, not tell them they're wrong and unacceptable, right? But and I know the people that I have worked with who are involved in same-sex attraction, the more they draw to Jesus, he sorts it out for them, right? And then we're able to look at their hurts and what led to some of those decisions.
Yeah, very good, Jill. Milan, a thought or two here before we move on.
Well, Kat, you're absolutely right. There is this used to be subtle, now it's very overt movement between Hollywood, the school system, the teacher unions. Yeah. Everything's all very much linked together. And the sad part is that if you disagree with the movement, then you're called a hater or a phobe. Right. And I'm not phobic. I just disagree. And I don't hate, like Jill said, I just disagree. Why? Yeah. Because the Bible says, in the beginning, God made them male and female. He created them in his image and likeness. Now, everything is being challenged about God. The enemy, Satan, is one who is taking everything that God created and trying to reverse it, undermine it, or cause it to break down. Marriage is breaking down. The church is breaking down. Male and female gender is breaking down. But marriage is a holy thing between a husband and a wife. That is breaking down. And so the whole system that God created is breaking down with the forces of this world. But, ... it is exactly what the Bible says is going to happen prior to the second coming of Christ. And so that is the place inside of me that I'm going to always represent God, and I'm always going to say, I don't hate you and I'm not afraid of you. I simply disagree because God says there's a design for us to honor. No matter what our predispositions are, when we come to Christ, as Jill said, we have to follow our Lord, and we need to follow him no matter what our propensities are of moving away from God. We all have to bring it to the cross and say, I'll bend my knee to you, Lord, and do whatever you ask me to do. Mm-hmm. And that is where I need to live my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One final note here. I think I shared this one other time. I was talking to a secular therapist, not a Christian, and I said to her, I said, well, I really believe that God intends people that are of opposite gender to marry, that's what God intends. And I don't have anything, there's no hatred, no bitterness toward anybody that is in a same-sex relationship. I love them. I can genuinely tell you that I love them. I don't avoid being with them. I just, it's just part of my life. It has been for many years. And she said to me, I have never heard of this. I said, well, what do you mean? She said, I've never heard of a Christian who genuinely loves somebody who is homosexual or gay. I said, well, I'm sorry that this image that you have from those that get the most attention maybe on television or whatever, that's what you think all of us are like, because it isn't. We really do have a lot of love, respect, and concern for people, no matter what they believe, whatever they're doing. And we just have a certain belief that just as they would like to be accepted, we would like to be accepted too. It was a really interesting chat. But for her to say, I have never met any Christian, or didn't even know of Christians that genuinely love somebody that was in a same-sex relationship. That's pretty sad. She never met anybody.
Well,
anyway,
and it is sad, Steve, when the gay community becomes more loving and accepting than the church.
Well, yeah.
Right? That's sad. And I understand that we have to have standards, but there's that balance there. We also need to love.
It, like so many things in life, can be summed up in one word: tricky. It's very tricky. We got to be really careful.
That was your word of the year for 2020, wasn't it?
It was. I may have to go back and use it again. I may have to go 2 words: really tricky.
Yeah, but Steve, look, I just want to stop and say to you and to our listening audience, I hope you heard what Steve reported there about his encounter with that other person, and the powerful impact that, Steve, you had with that individual by being honest, loving, not reactive, not hostile, but taking the time to explain something, and then taking the time to allow that person to not be put off by you because of your attitude, but breaking the barrier of kindness in your speech. I'm just so proud of you, Steve. That was really neat.
Thank you, Milan. And I'll tell you this, if it wasn't genuine, that therapist would have certainly picked up on that. She wouldn't have responded. She would say, you know what, I hear what you're saying, but your countenance or it doesn't jive. It's not authentic. But it really was, and so thank you for that. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you need some help, we want to help you. A gift of any amount, we send you The Soul of a Hero. That is the last book that Dr. Dave Stoop and I wrote together. You can watch us and subscribe to our YouTube channel, the New Life Live YouTube channel. And let me just mention this: on June 12th, not only is it the Dave Stoop Memorial at 10 a.m. on June 12th at St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church in Newport Beach, but also that's the beginning of our Every Man's Battle workshop, our intensive on that day. And I hope that you'll, if you've ever thought about going, this could be the summer, literally the summer, that changes everything for you. And let me just mention this to you. There are people that were the worst of the worst. Imagine this. They were Christian leaders in church having an affair or two on the side. And they came to Every Man's Battle. These are my friends. I know these folks. They came to Every Man's Battle. And the worst of the worst, you could say, the most duplicitous people imaginable, living in shame, I would have to say have done more to reach out and help other people than anything I could ever have imagined. And that could be you. You could go from being the man who is just into all sorts of stuff that you know isn't right. You get it turned around, and now you're influencing people because you're able to say, I used to struggle here. Victory has come my way. Doesn't come alone. Comes with the help of a lot of other people and the power of the Holy Spirit. But you could be one of these people that you could go from being the worst of the worst to truly transforming lives of other men by the way you talk with them, interact with them, and influence them. And if you want to be that guy, tired of being the one you are, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online May 1st. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. As Terry Mack said there, Terry McIntosh, we love getting comments from you. Today we're only taking positive comments, but other days we'll be glad to handle the criticism. But we just try, June, everybody knows, June 3rd, of course, International Positive Comment Day for New Life. Let's go back to the phones here. And how about we talk with Carla? Carla is calling us, Fort Worth, Texas, where I went to seminary, went to graduate school, lived there on Drew Street, paid $10,000 for the first house I ever owned. Had a $139 payment. Boy, were those the days. Carla, thanks for reminding me of the good old days. How can we help you today?
Hi. Well, yeah, the property's a lot more expensive than that now.
I would think so. Yeah.
I don't know if that was a positive comment, though. So I have a question, and it is, I'm going to try to figure out how to word this. So okay. I have read Milan's book, and Kay, and I understand, I think, attachment theory. I mean, as a non-educated person in that area. But so is it possible that there are things that happen in your life that are currently, bad? And then, is it always related to the fact that something, your dad was mean to you or spanked you or whatever, your relationship, your past relationships? Is it all related to childhood? Does it have to be? Or can it ever be that, this current situation is really bad and it's not related at all to anything in my past? So,
and what you're saying is,
yeah.
And so you're saying, could a situation that's bad just be bad, but me getting in the bad situation has nothing to do with childhood? Is that kind of what you're saying there?
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I was just, so, I just feel like, and I'm a listener and have been for several years, and my husband listens, and so, and I do want to say a positive thing, that truly our relationship has improved, and it's our second marriage, and we've been married almost 10 years, and truly, from the depths of my heart, New Life was the catalyst for that.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I think what you're asking is really a great question, Carla.
Well, and can I jump in, Steve, before Milan jumps in here? I think, Carla, in what you're saying, there are sometimes new problems that pop onto the scene. And it's separate from things that maybe we have recreated from our past. But I think where the past ties in is that we have a filter through which we view all of life. And if we're not aware of kind of the bias in our filter, we are going to see things through that lens. And so our interpretation of current situations, even if they had nothing to do, right, just random came out of the past, is influenced by how we then react to the current situation. That's where the past hooks in. And that's why so many times you hear us going back to that. And I do hear what you're saying, but this has nothing to do with it. But you have something to do with it. And so when we're not clear and when we haven't resolved those things, we put the past onto the present new situation.
All right, Milan, what are you thinking here?
Well, I appreciate what Jill's just said. Our reactivity is, and the feelings associated with our reactivity often, Jill, is what those filters are that you're talking about, that we will encounter a new trial, a new problem, or a new situation, and we have something, Carla, it's called an implicit memory system. It's not something we can retrieve as memories that we pull off a shelf and say, hey, remember June 3rd, and it was New Life Appreciation Day, and that's an explicit memory that we pull off because we can retrieve it. But implicit memories are body sensations, body feelings, body reactions. And often things that are new, things that are in the present, still pull those up. And that is how one way that the past can, be pulled up in a present situation. But the other way to look at it too, Carla, is that new things do come up, difficult things, positive things, and they can have an influence on us, especially traumatic things can really have a powerful influence on us. And whatever happens to me isn't necessarily related to my past. And so you're right, new things can occur. So not always, like you said, it's just a bad situation that's happening right now. But I look at that, Carla, and the old me would always have the same reaction when bad things happened in my adulthood. I would turn into the 14-year-old or 12-year-old kid that would be frightened out of his gourd and then retreat and run away from the pressure or the pain. But now that I'm more of a secure connector, I don't have that implicit reaction taking place in me anymore, and I am more able to deal with situations head on because the past is less affecting me at this time. So those are just a couple of thoughts on my end.
Okay, so you hear the music. We'll go to a break. Carla, hang in there. We got some more to share with you here.
Yeah.
What a great question.
Yeah, great question.
But here's part of the answer. No matter what your past is, what are we going to do with it? That's what counts. We'll be back after this.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., July 23rd to the 25th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan Yerkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of the 8 books in the Arterburn Wellness Series, including Understanding and Loving a Person with Depression and Understanding and Loving a Person with Alcohol and Drug Addiction. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and Carla is asking just one of the most important questions ever. You know, is everything rooted in the past and all of that? And at the break, we were talking about this. Milan, you had a great
yes,
example
we loved his
or
analogy.
It was really good. Can you share that with us?
Well, I think that we, as a group of people, as individuals, clusters of people, churches, whatever, our education, we don't think of ourselves as one continuous history, but we are one continuous history. All of my years are stacked up, and if you look at me right now, I'm the front end of the engine, okay? I'm the engine pulling that train. And we can't, everything in our past is brought with us, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so we have to ask ourselves, as Carla is doing, is anything from my past contributing to this, contributing to my reactivity, or causing me to feel, do, and say something, or avoid, or to be angry about, or to protest, et cetera, et cetera. So we are historical creatures, and we must realize we carry it all with us.
Right, and a good way to kind of decipher whether this is of the past or not is whenever you have a overreaction to something in the present, right? It's usually about something in the past. So Milan, as you have said, if it's hysterical, it's historical, right? So that's an important way to look at it. Am I overreacting to this given situation?
Well, I hope that that's helpful to you, Carla. The other thing that I just want to be sure is we can't blame everything on our parents, and a lot of crummy parents, the kids are great. Look at my daughter Madeline. She came from me, and she's fantastic. So people have choices that they make beyond, and sometimes in the worst of situations they make those great choices. I don't know if that's answered your question the way you wanted it answered or fully, but I hope it did, Carla. Anything else you want to say before we go?
No, that was really good. That was good.
Thank you. All right. Well, let me send you a copy of this new book. Give it to your husband, The Soul of a Hero. I think he will like it. I think women will like it, too, especially if you're single. Don't marry anybody unless they're a hero. Godly man. That's what we're looking for. Larry Sonnenberg is in the studio right now, very godly man. And, Larry, what do you have for us here today?
Steve, a reminder, I heard you talking about it a little earlier, but Every Man's Battle is a week from Saturday, the 12th of June.
Mm-hmm.
And it's online one day. You can get a lot of work started at that one-day workshop. And I want to tell you what somebody wrote to us who, this is a wife. If it wasn't for New Life and what I have learned about sexual addiction, I don't think that I would have had the knowledge about the battle or the courage to insist that my husband go to the Every Man's Battle workshop. I know that it was God's perfect timing, and I really feel that our marriage has been saved. I'd come to the point where I wasn't even sure that I wanted to continue in our 37-year marriage, but I know that the Lord hates divorce. After the workshop, he confessed to something that I could never have imagined. I was overcome with compassion for him that I know came from the Lord. I feel like a new person, and he looks like a weight has been lifted off his shoulders. I know that he has a lot of work to do, and I'm so thankful that he's continually in touch with the other men he met at that workshop, who are fighting the same battle. I feel like our marriage has been healed by the Lord through New Life Ministries. And then she says, the last thing is I would like to join Club New Life. I commit to giving $30 a month. So
awesome.
I love that. Somebody's life is forever different. It took the courage of a woman to make a call or to talk to the husband about it. Ladies, you can do the same thing. And guys, don't wait for your wife to, get on your case. You know you need it. So please go and do it. And folks who support the ministry, this is what happens. Somebody sees their life change and they decide, I want to give back. And you don't have to wait till it affects you. You can do it right now. So anything you can do to help, we would be very, very appreciative. So thank you.
Two things I want to say. Not everybody that goes to Every Man's Battle is a sex addict. You will be if you keep on the same track that you're going. And so why not get some help before? And then secondly, if you join Club New Life, we're giving away 8 books. And every one of them start with this: Understanding and Loving a Person With. And it's bipolar, alcohol and drug addiction, narcissistic personality disorder, depression, these 8 most common things that people are struggling with. And it's a great little library. It's our way of saying thank you for joining Club New Life. It makes all the difference in the world. Thank you, Larry, for sharing with us. Appreciate that. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you can help us. And, of course, it's also the number if you need help. And Every Man's Battle is the beginning of a whole new life for so many people. All right, let's go to Woody from Hagerstown, Maryland. Hi, Woody. How are you today? You are on with Milan Yerkovich and Dr. Jill Hubbard. How's it going?
Well, so far so good. I just wish my weekend would have been a lot better.
Uh-oh, what happened on the weekend?
Well, I live in a nursing home because I had 2 strokes between 2011 and 2020, plus the coronavirus, plus I fell and broke my hip among that duration. And I met a girlfriend back in 2015 who lives here in Hagerstown, and she lived alone, and she had an accident at her home and fell and broke her hip. Now, she's in a hospital in Baltimore, which is about 100 miles away. But we met here at the nursing home, and so how we started a relationship.
Okay.
So I would like to be with her as much as I could, but I can't do it. Plus, we're on lockdown because of COVID.
Very sad. Well, Woody, how could we help you? Is there anything you want to ask us, or did you just call to share?
I don't know how to handle all this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds really, really hard and tough. We always hear these stories.
I got a hard enough time keep up with my mom and Aunt because my mom works all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let us try to give you some hope here and some encouragement. I'll start with you, Jill. I really feel for Woody, and he represents so many people, especially during this time of coronavirus. That
it's been really hard. People have been isolated so much. And Woody, first of all, I just want to commend you for making the most of your situation, that in the midst of your difficulties, you still were seeking people and relationship and life, even though you have some limitations. And I think it's hard, as things happen to us in life, as we get older, we are more limited. And I've seen people who get really angry about that. Instead of, okay, well, this is the natural progression of life. We don't ask for all these things to happen, but what are we going to do now with what is? And so finding a way to do something regardless of our circumstances is really important. And I thank you for being an example of that. I'm wondering if you're...
Plus, going to say something else.
Okay.
Both of us are wheelchair bound.
Okay. Are you able to have any contact with this person?
The only contact we're having with her now is by telephone.
Oh, okay.
And I called her she called me last night. She said, hold off on calling her for a few days. And since she just survived surgery and everything like that, so I'm willing to do that.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you get to use the phone. I'm wondering if they ever let you use, FaceTime or the computer so that you could actually see each other.
I don't know, because I don't know how to use none of that stuff.
Right,
I'm never
someone would have to help you. Okay. Well, I think, navigating this is really difficult, and I don't know what restrictions they put on. And she's asking you for a little bit of space because she's not feeling well. But it sounds like that will resume. And I hope that you are able to resume that. The fact that she's not there, I'm hoping also that you will work on other friendships within, proximity to you. And
well, I'll tell you what, right now, I do have a friend in my dialysis facility. She been bringing me books over the telephone.
Oh, that's nice.
That's really nice.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really neat. Well, we got to go to a break here, so hold on, Woody. I really appreciate your call. I've got some. I want to share with you what the research says on how a guy like you could experience the best and maybe what is, you might think, the worst situation ever. Talk to you about that right after this. You're listening to New Life Live, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you need some help, come join us at one of our intensives. We've been researching how to do these for years, and we think if you come, it's going to be a good experience. You won't be disappointed. Marriage Intensive, Every Man's Battle, coming up on the 12th. We'll be back after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly. and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. We're talking with Woody, who is in a nursing home, and he's missing his really good friend there. Woody, I just want to talk to you for a second. I wrote a book about a lot of stages that men go through, and one of the stages we go through is, am I a real man? And another one is, am I competent as a man? And then sometimes we have to figure this out. As a man, am I more than just a paycheck to somebody? Am I really valued for the person that I am? And then here comes this really tough stage of, as a man with limitations, can I accept and live with my new limitations? And you've got some really, really tough limitations there. And I mentioned this research project. They spent a ton of money finding out what we all know. And that was this, that the people that are the happiest are the people that reach out and do whatever they can for somebody else. Maybe literally all you could do right now, Woody, is to make it a point to tell every person, nurse, assistant that's helping you, thank you, and express your gratitude to them. But the more we can get out of our own misery and into somebody else's life and what they might need or what we could do, and we know that people can always use encouragement, but the more we do that, the better we're going to feel about ourselves. And so I don't have any magic words for you. I really feel for you. I'm so glad you have your friend. Sounds like you'll get to be back in touch with her. But to have somebody that's reading to you, maybe there's somebody in that facility you could reach out and be a great encouragement to also.
But the craziest thing about my relationship with my girlfriend I met here at the nursing home, she had just come up to me out of the blue, said how much she liked me. I said, I'm available. After 6 years.
Yes. Well, you must be a very attractive man, Woody, I'll tell you. That's awesome. I have never had anybody come up to me and but anyway, that's another story. Woody, I'm glad that you called. I'm going to send you a copy of Every Man's Bible, and I hope you'll find someone. I'll send you the biggest type we've got, but I hope you find somebody that might read that to you, because it's just written for a man with all the different articles and things right alongside God's Word. I'll ask folks to pray for you and every person that is confined to a facility, no longer having the freedom that you used to have. I pray for you. It's an encouragement to whatever situation that we're in. Let's make the very best of it, because it's probably not going to be there forever. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And so let's be grateful. Let's reach out to others. I mean, really, that is what Christ told us to do unto others as we would have them do unto us. And that's what we've been trying to do here for, 33 years now, of trying to help people transform their lives. I wish somebody had helped me transform my life much earlier in life. But I'll tell you something. It's never too late. It's never too early to experience God's best for you. Milan, you have done so much to help marriages transform, not just get better, but really to transform. And I think some of that, or maybe most of it, is starting to see ourselves and the other person in a different light. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Self-observation is very important. Our God is a very observant God of himself and others. And he's very emotionally intelligent, our God is. And he has emotions from Genesis to Revelation. And those emotions are there for a reason. They could be negative ones. He's hurt, he's sad, he's angry, and they could be joyous ones. And so he shares them with us and what makes them happy. Why are they there, and what's he going to do about them? When a couple in relationship can learn to be self-aware and to be able to identify their emotions that they're feeling right now and what's going on, and then for another person to look into their eyes and feel empathy and compassion, not try to switch, change, fix their emotions, minimize, dismiss them, but just identify and just allow the person to be that and care, and then ask them, what can I do to help you with those emotions? I will love you by listening to you. And then in so doing, a couple draws very close with time.
You know, you talked about self-observation, which is so different than self-obsession. And we have a lot of people that obsess over themselves, but they don't ever stop and say, why am I obsessing over myself? They don't see it, but it really is different.
Yeah, I would say people that are self-observing aren't taking selfies. whereas
the whole population is taking selfies.
Whereas the self-absorbed person is taking selfies, but the self-observing person is asking myself, what am I doing right now? Who am I? What do I think of me? Can I watch myself kind of step away and ask myself, why am I acting and relating like this? And that usually doesn't involve a snapshot. It usually involves contemplation.
Well, the other thing is, if photos had a little narration strip with them that revealed what was going on behind the picture, you'd see Bobby and Sharon over there on the beach in the Caribbean, and the little thing would be going, these two people who look so happy in the beach, they hate each other. They, whatever. You'd get a different reality if the reality was presented. Now, I'm not saying that everybody named that or that goes to the Caribbean hate each other. What I'm saying is, though, you can't compare your life and make yourself more miserable because of what you see in the picture. You don't know what's going on in that life. All right, we're just about out of time. I want to encourage you to call us about one of these wonderful intensives coming up. Here's the first one, Every Man's Battle, June the 12th. And then on the 25th of June, for women who have been hurt, betrayed by a man. Sexual integrity was the issue. It's the Restore Workshop. Not to restore the marriage. We'd hope that could happen, but sometimes it can't. But we'll restore you and your faith and relationship with God. Intimacy in Marriage is July 23, 24, and 25, Washington, D.C., and hope you'll join us there, face to face, in person. That'll be the first one we've done face to face in a long time.
Isn't Restore face to face as well?
It is in Dallas, Texas. But I meant Milan and me.
Yes.
But
gotcha.
Restore is also in person. And then Emotional Freedom, that's August the 14th. Chris Williams and myself, Jackie Mack Harris, will be joining us for that, and that is online because they don't trust us in person. So we'll be doing that. But anyway, if you need some help, we're here. We have intensives, we have resources, we have therapists all over this country that might be able to help you. Really important that you get a good, strong Christian counselor for what you're going through. And that's what we love to see, somebody needing some help. When you support us, we have two things. If you give us a one-time gift, send you the new book, The Soul of a Hero. Dr. Dave Stoop and I wrote that. And, I'm just looking at the back of it and the picture on the back. Show that to you on Facebook. Sad. We're going to have a memorial service for him on June the 12th. But this is the last book, The Soul of a Hero. And then if you join Club New Life, we'll send you 8 books as our way of saying thank you. My thanks to Milan and Jill, Larry, all of you, Terry McIntosh, all that help us do this. God bless you. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.